Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Adventure Built. My name is Kelly.
I'm Trevor.
And today we are talking about a Factory 55 rope pulley system that I saw at SEMA. It got a lot of buzz and Trevor was able to pick one up, and now we're gonna go through it.
So I picked one of these up because I don't have a snatch block, and this thing seemed really cool. It has a unique system of the little plastic grooves in here to keep the winch line in here. It only works with synthetic lines, but my Ironman 4x4 winch has a synthetic line, so it works perfectly for that. Can't be used with steel. So it's aluminum. It's a lot lighter than a traditional snatch block. The one thing that I did some research on that kind of got me thinking, there was an Australian channel, we'll link it below in the description, but he talked about the pulley systems creating more friction on the side. As it has tension, it pinches on the side. So I wanted to take a look. We're going to do a impromptu experiment to see how it is. We'll see if it works or not. But one of the cool things that it has is a Teflon coating on the outside, and it's supposed to reduce friction. And with this style shackle, it's a little longer than normal, so I'm thinking that it may still be able to flow freely through there, but I still think it's going to create a lot of drag, because as you pinch it, you can tell that it's dragging through there. So that's what I think. What do you think?
I think that Dyneema definitely has the heat warnings that Dyneema has. This is going to be a lot of friction on this device. I think the pull speed is going to be the most important thing using the Factory 55 pulley with the Dyneema synthetic line shackles, is that if you get a really fast pull or something happens to where you are in extreme desert heats, anything over 300 degrees on Dyneema, I'm pretty sure will just melt, and then you're going to have some serious issues with it. But I think otherwise it's a really great system. So one thing that we want to tell you is, so this gator jaw soft shackle here cannot be used with the Factory 55 pulley. You can really use any soft shackle with this pulley. However, this one cannot be used because the rubber information logo they have on here is right where the pulley would sit, and the pulley will just melt this rubber down and probably destroy the shackle and mess up the pulley pretty good.
Yeah, and it would also add more friction to the overall recovery system that you're rigging up.
So let's talk about the test we're going to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the line out to a tree, and we are going to do a single line pull, and then we're going to do a double back pull, or 2-to-1 pull.
I think in the experiment that with a double line pull, it's putting less strain on each line. However, it should also be faster because there's less strain on the lines, which in turn is less strain on the motor of the winch. That's what I think. So it should increase the actual speed under strain.
I don't think that's actually physically possible. I think physics will counter that. I think that with a 2-to-1 pulley, you are going to have half the load, but it's going to be twice the time. So what we're going to do is we're going to mark out the tire back here. We're going to mark out 10 feet. We're going to mark a spot there, and we're going to start a single line pull. We're going to measure the time that it's going to take for that line to get taken in from one point to the next, and then we're going to re-rig it for a double back pull or a 2-line pull, and then we're going to measure that same time, how long it takes to get from point A to point B, and we'll see what those times are, and may the best man win. Beer bet.
Beer bet.
I'd be watching out for snakes too, bro.
It's too cold for snakes.
I've seen snakes.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm like,
oh, that sucks. Ow. Oh, yeah. Oh, too late.
No, you're such a wimp.
Can you get that one?
That came right out. That came right out.
more the fact of it all.
That's the principle of the matter.
Principalities, all right. All right, let's go pull line. So when you're hooking up the rope retention pulley, one of the things that I think Factor 55 kind of missed the mark a little bit, especially for something at this kind of price point. When you're normally getting here, you throw things around, you're used to throwing your snatch blocks around, everything else. However, with this, it's a hard anodized aluminum, but it's still aluminum. And if you toss it down and you get a ding on it, it can still wear on the inside of this. So whether you drop it on a rock while you're setting up your recovery, or while it's in your recovery bag and it's bouncing around, maybe hits a steel shackle or something like that, it's just something you have to be careful of. I wish they would have put in a little storage bag. I keep it in this little thing, just a little canvas thing, a couple bucks, just a little insurance for this investment. First, we're gonna be hooking up a single pull. So we're using my, what is this thing? Gator jaw. Going through the tree protector, through the Factor 55 thingamajigger, their flat link, and then that's it. Let's pull some.
So this is going to be the starting point for our test. We're using these LED road flares on both sides to mark the beginning point. We've measured out 10 yards. I didn't feel that 10 feet was quite enough distance to get a good measurement. We have the same road flares at the end. We're using rocks to kind of mark the tire position. That would be start and stop on both pulls at the same starting point and same ending point. As soon as the pull begins, I'm gonna start my clock. We're gonna pull all the tension out of it. And when the pull begins, I'm gonna start the clock, and we will end it once the front tires are at the end spot of the 10 yards. So super, super scientific, super controlled, not even worried about it. Ready?
Ready.
Get set.
Set.
Go. Stop. That was officially the slowest race ever.
Very slow.
First pull, official time, 1 minute, 37 seconds. We did the single line pull. The time was 1 minute and 37 seconds for about a 10-yard pull. It wasn't super long. We're running about a 2% grade, but it's a very rocky terrain. We didn't want to get anything too crazy, steep or technical. We're trying to make this a little bit more scientific, and the more steep and technical it gets, obviously the more things can go wrong. So we're trying to keep the same path, and we're gonna do a double line pull now. And my guess is that it's going to take twice as long. So we're looking at over 3 minutes, or right around 3 minutes to do that same pull. I believe Trevor's under the impression that it's gonna either be the same time or faster. I think personally, twice as long. I'm looking at 3 minutes. That's my bet. We'll see who wins. And there's Guinness on the line here, so I hope I win.
Single pull line is complete. Now time for the double pull with the Factor 55 rope retention pulley. Now this thing just slides through this soft shackle, and you can put the line around it, and the nice thing is this thing keeps it really well. You can shake it around. It's not coming off that at all. So feed it through, over the knot, tighten it up, and it keeps it. So that's the main benefit of the rope retention pulley. For a 2-to-1, you got to hook up to the bumper. So we're going to feed it through the flat link, around the ball, dress it up nice like that.
Cool. All right, bro, you ready?
Ready.
All right, ready, set, go. The rear tires are past the first marker. Feels quite a bit slower, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Are you a bit nervous you're going to lose this?
Possibility.
Super close. And stop. All right, what do you think the time was?
Slow. Uber slow.
All right, so the first pull was 1 minute 37 seconds. What was the second pull? What do you think?
2 minutes 34 seconds.
Oh, you looked at my watch.
I did look at your watch.
So who won?
You know what?
No, who won?
I'm gonna say that it's a tie. And I haven't thought of a reason why it's a tie yet, but I'm gonna call it a tie.
So that is, of course, what all of the people that lose bets say is that it's a tie, because that's all they can say. That was a clear victory. The second pull was 2 minutes and 34 seconds. The first pull was 1 minute and 37 seconds. All right, guys, let's talk results. The first pull was 1 minute and 37 seconds. I got it written down right here so I don't forget. The second, the double pull, was 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So half the amount of work that the winch is doing because of the 2-to-1 pulley system. However, it takes 2 minutes and 34 seconds, which is a minute longer than what the first pull is. Is it better? Is it worse? I don't know. It depends on, I think it's better for the winch to be able to have less work. You're doing less output for the winch itself. However, if you're in a time restraint, maybe that minute counts, maybe it doesn't. What do you think, Trev?
I was completely turned on my side on this thing. I really thought that it was going to be faster with the 2-to-1 because it's less effort. However, like my brother mentioned off camera, that it was kind of like a bicycle. When it's geared, it's going to be easier to pedal, but you're pedaling more. So after that, it made sense to me. Fair is fair. He won. I owe him a beer.
At least 1 beer.
That's all I get.
Maybe
is
2.
One beer.
Maybe 2. Maybe you can con 2 out of him. Let's see. All right. Are there any pros or cons to using the 2-to-1, 1-to-1 system that you can think of? Did you like the factory 55 pulley and the Shackle? Were there any pros and cons that you found from it?
So I think the biggest pro is ease of setup. It was extremely easy to use with the soft shackle versus using a hard shackle and a typical snatch block. But I think that it works best as a redirect versus a 2-to-1. To me, I thought that pulley would actually spin inside of the soft shackle, but it doesn't move. It's locked in there pretty good because of all the tension on there. So the cable is just going around and pulling in there. So the friction spot is on the inside of the pulley. And with that, I think it's way too much friction. On a standard snatch block, it actually has bearings in there, so it's gonna move around and have a lot less friction. And so to me, it's probably a better, more efficient movement, but the weight savings of this is huge. So I think having one Factor 55 rope retention pulley and one traditional snatch block, I think is kind of a perfect setup. So that way you can use both depending on your needs.
I would 100% agree. I think the weight savings you get, and plus you have a system that is foolproof. Until that that pulley actually physically breaks or it becomes grooved out in the center portion where the winch line is going through it, it is a foolproof system. There's nothing that can go wrong with that system. So I think as far as weight savings and the simplicity of it and the reliability of it, I think it's really 100% worth getting.
I agree. All right, so that's the Factor 55 rope retention pulley.
And guys, don't forget to subscribe and be sure to hit that like button. We'll see you guys next time.